One Bloody Mary. Expertly made. I think you always put the vodka in first. Worcestershire sauce? Oop, didn't shake it. Hello and welcome to Historical Perspectives with Don Brodey. I'm Don Brodey. Why Bloody Mary? Well, because today I'm going to talk about the history of NATO. And I feel like a Bloody Mary, it was something we thought up after a really rough night, thinking it'll fix everything. But really, it was just starting the whole terrible process all over again. Sounds kind of gruesome, and Russia's involved. Why NATO? Well, duh, because as I record this, Donald J. Trump... Oh, God, it's so fucked. And he's just pissing all over everything. What is NATO? I'll be honest. If you're a fan of these, if you watch these a lot, you know that my thing, my historian's niche, is early colonial American history, the Revolutionary War, and George Washington, my boyfriend. So I had to do a little delving into this. I learned a lot myself. And I started with NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And I thought, all right, what do I know about NATO? NATO started after World War II. It was a collection of sovereign nations that decided to come together so that they could respond collectively to any kind of global threat like the Third Reich. And when I first started researching it, I was like, God, that sounds familiar. That's like the UN. Difference is, UN World War II ended in 1945. The UN was created in 1945. The UN was like, God, we're fucking tired of war. All these goddamn trenches, all these goddamn bodies, the Holocaust, fuck! And they were just about like peace and fix and let's just everybody come together and decide no more of this stuff. 2 years after World War II, 1947, we're like, fuck, there's gonna be a war again, and it's definitely gonna be with Russia. And so we form NATO, which is much more military focused than the UN. They're more of a global strategic, I hurt myself, by the way. Well, nothing to be alarmed about. So NATO's like military focused and not ambiguous about the fact that it was the Soviet Union, not Russia, the Soviet Union we're upset about. Soviet Union started in 1922, right after World War I, and boy howdy were they big and scary at the end of World War II. Wow, you guys, in World War II, we were like, God, they're scary. A huge reason why the, like a lot of Germans surrendered to the Allies was because if they didn't, the Russians were gonna get them. And the Russians didn't take a lot of prisoners. And they were really mean. And even the Allies were like, God, they're good at this. I hope we never have to fight them. So, if NATO's stated goal was nations collectively against the communist threat of the Soviet Union in particular, by 91, we just kind of choked them out. You know, the Cold War was awful, but it was still the Cold War, like, hello, 80s, you've seen Stranger Things. Like, we had a great time. We had malls and fairs and frozen meals. But in Russia, you've seen the Americans waiting in line for food. Everything sucks. And communism didn't work, and then the Berlin Wall fell, and then in 1991, the USSR is dissolved into all these little countries. And a lot of them, former Soviet Union countries that are now, of course, independent sovereign nations, like the Ukraine and Kosovo and Bosnia. The reason we know about a lot of these places is because they're entrenched in war. And now Putin is trying to make Russia great again. And he's trying to kind of gobble, get all these little countries all back into the fold. A lot of these countries are now in NATO. The UN, which is humanitarian peacekeeping, we want everyone to be like super good. They have their own set of goals, and they have 193 countries in the UN, including Russia. NATO has 29 countries. It's a more exclusive club, and decidedly not Russia, in case we thought maybe we'll invite Russia in. And then the whole business with Ukraine started, and we were like, absolutely not. 2014, no way. God. Vodka's really good, though. Nobody denies that. It's not like NATO's been perfect. 1956, the Suez Crisis. Well, I don't have time for that. But the bottom line is basically Israel and France and Britain invaded Egypt. Did you know that happened? It was brief. And they were like, no, it's fine because we're NATO. NATO was like, not how it works. France just left NATO for a minute because, France in World War II was like, I know, everybody hated World War II, but like we were occupied and it was really bad. So like we're just gonna go ahead and keep our nukes, and like NATO was like, we can't get this thing. Anyway, they're back. So there's been issues. But generally speaking, most people agree they're important. And even for all their failings and all the things they haven't done and all of the global crises that they have fallen short, arguably, of addressing, they did get their titty up and come together at times. Somebody comes for one of us, they come for all of us. We link arms and we go in shoulder to shoulder, brother to brother. We are one, we are united. And they did that one time, and it was on behalf of the United States after September 11th. So yeah, it's a little rich when Donald Trump comes into NATO and is like, God, I love Russia, and you fucks don't do enough. This has been Historical Perspectives with Don Brodey. I'm Don Brodey. Oh, fuck. Right?